This week's gonna be a nice, easy week for us again. Again, for you guys, we're trying to ease you into this whole school thing. We're gonna make things nice and easy. We're gonna have a lot of time in class to do a lot of our work, okay? Today, we're gonna go over the life plan and what that looks like. For those in Ms. Newsom's class, I don't have her markups yet for what she's going to require. So remember, again, those that are in both classes, you can write one paper and hand it in to me and hand it in to her. Remember, you have to hand it in both places, okay? I'm looking for content and what's in it, and she's gonna be looking for whatever she asks for, the English type stuff, okay? But it allows you to just write one for both classes. Sounds cool? Yeah? Unfortunately, the class after you, the 10 a.m. class, doesn't have that luxury because they don't have Ms. Newsom, so y'all be lucky you're waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Sound good? Okay. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look through that life plan, and we're going to talk a little bit about how things have changed, especially for those of you that came from high school or came from a break and are kind of that first semester student. We're going to look to some of our more seasoned students. I like to call them more seasoned. To maybe get some tips and tricks from them as well. We're going to look at the Clifton strengths, and we're going to talk about what it is today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk a little bit more about Clifton strengths, and if you can, bring your laptops into class, and if not, I can open the lab, and we're going to take about an hour out of class tomorrow to take the assessment ourselves, okay? So if you've not taken it, we're going to take it tomorrow. Sound good? You don't have your book for some reason, let me know. I know I have a few people. I think we moved your due date a little bit, didn't we? Was it your, no. Was it you? Do you not have the book? You don't have the book. Henry's a problem child. It's fine. We love him. Okay. 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 It might be. There's no telling. So the question, so one of the things I found in the journal entries was that apparently people online can't hear y'all's questions, and I haven't been repeating them, so I apologize. But so the question was that there are books that have been ordered. They might be sitting here. They're not sure where they are and when they've been shipped. So that's not a problem. Let me make sure everybody can get in. Everybody looks like they're in. Okay, cool beans. Okay. Then on Wednesday, we're going to look at our results from that. I'm actually going to share my results either today or Wednesday. So this is going to be interesting because I want to know what you guys think. I think it was spot on. I had a few online students that took it already that were kind of surprised at how, okay, so the test, I mean, it's not, there's no right or wrong answer, so it's not really a test. The assessment, thank you. It does seem kind of long at first, and it seems, I mean, the questions are not very thought-provoking. You need to go with what your first instinct is to answer them, okay? Please don't get caught up in it. There is no right or wrong answer. It's just going to tell you your preferences and your strengths. Make sense? Okay, so I found in the journal entry, the ones I've gotten through a good portion of them. There were two things that kind of stood out to me. So number one, I'm going to show you on the screen. You as a student, change. One thing that it looked like I had a few students, if you go to coursework, when you go to hand in your journal entry, okay? So two things I want to point out. You're going to do upload a file. You can choose from that Moxie manager thing, which is a little odd and a little weird, okay? In order to do that, you click on the upload from your local machine and you choose a file. Where did I go? There we go. Okay. It's going to say finished uploading. You click on insert. If you don't click on insert, it's not going to attach the file to the homework. Okay. You don't need to put anything for label or description. It doesn't bother me. Hit add label. Now, the biggest thing I was finding is at this stage, the way that it's set up, you can upload multiple files, okay? If you are done and you are ready to submit it to me to have me look at and grade, you need to click on the dark blue box, okay, that says submit, turn in your journal entry. It has been turned in. You can no longer add or edit. Yes, sir. Yeah, I noticed that because, and you probably, did I comment on yours yet this morning? Okay. So if you did not do that, I'm going to tell you what happens. What happens is at the due date, the system will automatically submit it for you. Okay. But to me, it looks like you waited until 11:59 last night to hand it in. Does that make sense? The other thing is with all of my assignments, and again, this is faculty specific, if you would like to hand it in ahead of time, when I have time, I will grade it and you have an opportunity to fix your grade. You guys saw that with that e-learning profile update thing. I kind of went through a couple times this week. And if there was something wonky, I put the grade in, I reached out to you and said, hey, fix this and you'll get your points back. Okay. So it's in y'all's best interest to go ahead and submit it when you, as long as you're done. Okay. But it will do it automatically if you forget. It just waits till the very, very, very last minute. Cool. Okay. Any questions about the Moxie Manager or anything like that with the handing in the homework? Okay. Where was I? So the other thing that I had a lot of people comment on was how different college is from high school and after only 1 week, right? We kind of talked about it day one, but now that you guys have been through a week's experience, what do you guys think? Like different, right? A lot different. So Victor, how was it different? Okay. He said we have a lot more freedom, which I agree with. He said I can do whatever I want whenever I want. Kinda. I mean, I agree with that, yes, because you guys are now adults and you're treated as such. And you make your own schedules. I think that's what you're getting at, right? Yeah, okay. We're just gonna make it sound a little better. Cool. Anything else? Everything is online? Yeah, yeah, everything's online, which I think is kind of like a thank you COVID / thing, but I'll be honest, in university settings, everything has traditionally been online a lot. There's a lot of places where I try to link things that we look at in class so that you guys can see them after class, things like that. Anything else? Do what, Victor? You don't see your parents every day. Is that good or bad? Good. I mean, I'm okay with that. There's a reason why I live like hundreds of miles away from my parents. We have a very good relationship with them in New Jersey and me in North Carolina. Very good relationship. What about the relationship you guys have with your professors and the faculty and the staff? Is it different? Yeah. How's it different? Well, you only have me and Ms. Newsom, so. What did you say right there? A lot more people in the class? Yeah. I went to a much, much larger university, and this was actually a small class for us. You're right. You're right. So she said last year there was only like 2 or 3 people in person per class, and she's correct. They were even smaller then. But I remember being in a lecture hall, like, which is basically like the theater, right, of the university, with the little dude sitting up front with just like this, like screens, and there was no attendance, there was nothing. It was just you show up if you want to type thing. If you didn't show up though, you pretty much failed. So like kind of, worked on its own, but it was a lot less personal. But there's a lot different relationship between your faculty and your professors and your staff here than with your teachers in high school, wasn't there? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we still have to teach you and we still have kind of that authority figure, but there's a lot more. Yeah, Savannah's professors are often a lot more chill than high school teachers. That's fun. I know I got called chill and all kinds of cool words. I was like, this is awesome. But I think it's just, we're all adults in this situation, and we expect to be treated as such on both sides of this coin, right? Was there anybody that like turned 18 while they were in high school? Did you guys have like the little sign papers, like now that you're an adult, you can do like, you could like sign your own homework and stuff like that? Did y'all do that? Yeah. I don't know. I was never 18 in high school, so I went to college when I was 17 for like 2 weeks. Remember, my birthday's like 2 weeks away, right? A couple weeks from now. Oh, and by the way, so the Monday we have off, it's not really because of my birthday, it's because of Labor Day. I had somebody ask, like, is it this Monday or is it your birthday Monday? I'm like, okay, time out. Like, don't go telling, like, you know, Grace. And when I say Grace, I mean, you know what I mean? All those dudes up in Grace. Don't go telling Grace that we had off because it was my birthday. It's actually Labor Day. It's like a holiday. Cool. Okay, just checking. Okay. But you will have a much different relationship, and as an adult type relationship, you're also going to get out of it what you put into it, right? Okay. It's not a dictatorship. We're not going to tell you what to do. We're there to guide you and help you and be mentors. It's a whole lot different than it was in high school, right? Where it was like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. If something happened, they went to mom and dad. We don't do that, right? We go to you. So you have to take on that responsibility of checking your email, checking the newsletters, you know, and keeping your adulting life kind of on course. Okay. You know, everyone like laughs about adulting and how it stinks. Yeah, y'all gonna find out. Cool. Any other questions? Like, has anybody found anything strange? What about living on your own? Y'all doing okay with that? Somebody said that they couldn't find how to do laundry in their journal, like online. Was that anyone in here that wants to admit to it? I said, I don't know. LOL at adulting. I said, I don't know much about doing laundry because I'm not the laundry person in my household, but I know you don't put the red stuff with the white stuff because you end up with pink stuff. That's about like all I know about laundry. I cook and do the dishes, so kind of works out well. You guys doing okay with time management so far? Yeah, a little bit. It takes a little getting used to. We're going to look into time management in a couple weeks. Want to get you in the rhythm, into like your little routine. You getting into routines kind of on your own? Pretty good? Okay. Sounds good. I've noticed that in high school, you're expected to earn a certain grade. In college, you're expected to understand the concept as well as get good grades. That's not wrong, Anna. That's a good, that's kind of good. I'll be honest, as a professor, I would much rather you understand the concepts and understand what's going on and give you corrections than have you make an A right out of the gate. I'm not on numbers, even though an A is not a number, is it? I'm not like a letter grade type of person, which is why in a lot of my classes, like this one, if you do the work and you do it properly, you're going to get an A. Okay. Because to me, it shows an understanding. With me, with the e-profile updates, you know, those of you that I had kind of kicked it back earlier in the week to update, y'all learned how to update it, didn't you? And if you didn't know how to do it, you asked. Okay. That was more important to me than what you actually get as far as a number. Okay. Not all professors are the same. Remember, we talked about that. But yeah, I'm more about grasping that concept, because to me, if you grasp the concept, the grade's going to follow, right? If you understand it in a good way, then it's just going to happen. It's going to be kind of natural and organic. I'll put my little like hippie hat on, right? But the key is getting stuff in. Most professors that I know that I talk to, if you hand something in early, they are more than happy to look at it for you and allow you to update or, you know, kind of resubmit to add points to your grade or add half the points back or something to that nature. You know, we don't want you to fail. So that was a good point. Thanks, Anna. Okay. Let's see if I can figure this out. So in today's weekly overview, we've got a few things that I have up here. We have a journal entry for this week. The prompt is at the bottom here. So the question for this week is, what have you learned about yourself this week? And I'm kind of driving it more towards this strength assessment that we're gonna be taking tomorrow than just like, hey, I learned how to do laundry. Cool. But if that's what you learned about yourself, then that's fine. Okay. When you get your 5 top strengths, did you look at it and go, yeah, that's me? Or were you like, I didn't think of that, but now that I'm thinking about it, it seems reflective of who I am. Okay. I did leave that Proctor free test and quiz up there like I said I would for those that have not been able to install it. I know we had a few people with Macs with issues. If you're having an issue with a Mac and it seems to be not installing or something, go ahead and use that Proctor free chat that we talked about and go directly to them and see if they can help you get that fixed. Okay. The last thing that we have due this week is going to be the strength assessments. Now, this is going to be a little bit more than just handing in a single paper. There's a few steps to this. So we're going to go over the power of strengths and the language of strengths in class. We'll do one of them today and one of them tomorrow. Number 2, take the assessments. And there are different reports that you'll need to save PDF copies of. I will show you what those look like. Okay. Once you save those PDFs, you can read these over here. Okay. And what you're going to submit, there's a few things here. Okay. You're going to submit your signature theme report. It's going to be one of those 3 or 4 reports that they give you at the end. We're going to look at what mine looks like. And then this right here, this is all of, they have 32 some odd strengths. Okay. What they do is they go through and they give you the top 5. You can pay them extra to get all 32, but you don't want to do that. Okay. So don't pay any extra. So this gives you a little bit more information about what that strength means. Okay, there's also going to be more information in those reports. So if it says that I am an achiever, it's going to be people exceptionally talented in the achiever theme, work hard, possess a great deal of stamina, take immense satisfaction in being busy and productive. I don't think that was mine. I'm just saying. I think it was the take pride in being busy and productive part. Just kidding. Let me grab those. They have. There we go. Let's see. Strengths, insight. This is the one I wanted. So my signature theme report. I had relator. Let's see what that one means. Actually, I had learner too, which I thought was funny. So I had learner. So for me, it says, have a great deal of desire to learn and want to continuously improve. The process of learning rather than the outcome excites them. Oh my God, seriously, I didn't read that right before I just said like what I said a minute ago. Does that sound like me though? Yeah, I think it does. And then, but my first one was relator. Enjoy close relationships with others. They find deep satisfaction in working hard with friends to achieve a goal. I mean, that kind of makes sense for a professor too, right? Yeah, because we're working together to meet our goals, right? Okay. Let's go back. Let's see what other kind of stuff we got in here. So we also have thinking about your signature themes. So what you're going to hand in, you're going to download this as well. You're going to hand in the first 2 pages. Okay. You're going to answer the question. So what was your initial reaction to seeing your report? You know, was it, yep, that sounds right? Nope. How well do your signature themes describe the ways in which you naturally think, feel, and behave? Remember, I said, don't overthink questions. Go with your gut. Go with what your first, instinct tells you. Okay. That's going to show you your natural behavior as opposed to a forced behavior. And did any of the top 5 themes surprise you? Okay. And then you're going to do this one right here, getting started with your signature themes. You're going to highlight some of the words that best describe you in your own opinion as you read through it. No big deal, right? Easy peasy. We're going to have time in class to do this. Next, there's another exercise, but we're not actually going to need to hand this one in. I'll make the instructions a little bit clearer here, but it's going to be the thinking about your signature themes and your report, okay? So you're gonna probably have more than one file, unless you come here and use our scanners and then scan everything together. Because remember, we know how to use the scanners now, right? No, y'all kill me. Just kidding. Take your badge and put it on the printer. And I think it says like other options, and one of them says, or actually I think the front screen says scan. It either says other options or scan. I think copier is under other options. Okay, you can scan it to your Google Drive. And it's going to be the Google Drive associated with your Carolina University email. Okay, because that's the one it's automatically hooked up to. Anna, I don't think you can type on the PDF the way that it is. You can also take a picture. Yes, Anna, very good. If you would like to take a picture with your phone, as long as I can read it, you can upload your picture. Sound good? We're not making this hard, right? No, good. Okay, some other things here for reading life after high school is just kind of what we talked about this morning. What are the differences? What are the strengths? And now I got to remember my login. Let's see. Negative. Y'all. Why did I hit the enter button? If I knew my passwords, I'd be dangerous. Just saying. So when you do go into the Gallup website, it's going to ask you to create a login. And all that's going to do is take all of your information and save it for you forever, pretty much. So I took mine back in March, I believe. There we go. I'm like, and my password holder thingy is called. There we go. Show. Oh yeah, okay. That's not what I thought it was. Y'all, I never remember my passwords. EDU password. Oh, well, that worked out well. Okay. Well, I'm not going to go to my sign in then. I have the copies of them. Let me get them instead. Downloads. Okay. Let's see if I can zoom in. Nope, wrong way. There. Can you guys see it pretty good? Yeah, pretty decently. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to explore some of these questions. Do you ever wonder why you make certain choices? Does anyone ever make a choice and you're like, why did I do that? Based on your natural behavior, okay? What do you want to do? Why? Is that your alarm? Time to wake up, my man. It's only like 30 minutes late. Why do you like certain things? Why are you better at some things than others? And then there's a reason for that. It is your talents. It is what your natural tendencies are. Okay. Now in this life plan, we're going to play off of what we get out of these strengths. Okay. And we're going to discuss some of them. Remember I said we require, like I said, I think I put 3 resources. I'm going to see if Ms. Newsom changes that, but one of them can be your book. Okay. And in the book, if anyone's looked at it, there's an introductory section at the beginning. And then it really does go through every one of those strengths. And there's like a page or 2 with more information regarding those strengths. Okay. So after we take the assessment tomorrow, go home, read through the book in the sections that match your strengths. See what it says. Okay. And then in the life plan, what we're going to do is see how those strengths are going to correlate into your career paths and how they're going to help you, right? Because we want to play to our strengths always, okay? Athletes, if someone is not a very good offensive, what do you do with them? Put them on defense, because that's where their strengths are, right? If you play football and you can't throw a ball, what are you not going to be? Quarterback, right? You have to play to your own personal strengths. Now, you can, and I want to say manipulate, but that's not really even the right word, because manipulate to me kind of sounds nefarious. Yeah, a little bit. But you can manipulate almost any situation and turn it around so that you can still play to your strengths. Okay? But the key to that is starting out with that understanding of yourself. You have to have that self-understanding to know how you're going to benefit to make it the best that you can be. Does that make sense? Yeah? Because if you don't know what you're good at, how can you play to that, right? If your strength lies in graphic design and video editing and things like that, ask your professors if you can turn in your life plan as a multimedia presentation. Because guess what this professor is going to say? Yeah, let's do it. Okay? Except if you're in Miss Newsom's English class, because you got to do it anyway. I'm just saying. Right? I was always that student because remember what I've said, English, not my thing. Words hard. I had we have people standing there, but I had someone in Grace ask me if I spoke Spanish. You know what my answer was? I don't even speak English very well. There's no way I'm speaking Spanish. Hola, español. Puerto ir al baño. That's about all I got. Where's the bathroom? Well, that was as close to where's the bathroom that I get. Okay. Not my strength. Okay. Once you get past here, you know, we're starting with this whole organization, time management and things, and we're starting off early, right? It's just going to keep growing as you go. Now's the time to make those mistakes, and now's the time to try those things out and see what works for you and see what doesn't. Because when you get out there into corporate America or wherever it is you're going, you need to know yourself well enough to know how to accomplish certain tasks, right? I am forgetful and I don't know why and I don't like it, but I'm just going to blame getting old. So I use reminders all the time. Don't forget to clock in and out. Don't forget to mark attendance. Okay? Just the way that I do it. Some people use sticky notes. Some people use paper planners. Some people use, you know, things on their phone. Okay? You have to find what works for you. Make sense? Yeah? Okay. People who focus on using their strengths are 3 times more likely to report having a better quality of life. You play to your strengths, it makes things easier, you stress out less. Kind of makes sense, right? No one wants to do things the hard way, right? No. Not at all. Okay? 6 times more likely to be engaged in their jobs. 6 times. Okay? Every single job out there, and anybody that has worked at all can tell you this, your job is going to be filled with the stuff you actually wanted to do, and then probably more like 70% of stuff you don't want to do. Right? Yeah? Even I'm a professor. I only spend maybe 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 hours a day, 4 or 5 hours a day teaching, which is what I enjoy. And then y'all, I got to do attendance and I have to grade and I have to read assignments and I have to go to meetings, and that's the stuff I'm not crazy about, right? No matter what job you get, There's going to be things you don't like and the things that you like. If you start playing to your strengths, it's going to help you with that stuff you don't like. Okay, it's going to make it easier. And it's not going to take up as much of your time so you can get to the stuff you like. Okay. For example, with the scanner, I brought the scanner in because doing it by hand was taking me like 2 hours to do attendance. And I was like, this is not cool. Right? Brought the scanner in, wrote a macro so that it pulls up your names and it automatically puts it in the system for me. My 2-hour block is now like maybe 30 minutes. Okay. Why? Because I played to my personal strength, right? Did it affect y'all in any way? Not really, except you get to play with the scanner when you come in, right? But it made my life so much easier. Okay. And I can get back to doing the things that I like. Okay. We all have to do the dirty stuff, right? Everybody, we have to. Okay. Teams that focus on strengths every day have 12.5% greater productivity. A lot of good teams have a mixture of strengths, and you need to play to each other's strengths. First thing you probably should do when you get into a team for a project or even out in the corporate world. Okay, what are you good at? What are you good at? I'm good at this. Okay. I've been put on many a committee here at Carolina University, and the first thing I say is I am the organizational one. I'm the technology person. If you have any tech questions, if you want to implement anything, if you need help organizing the committee, that's me. Okay. Not good at the holding people to deadline thing. Not good. Someone else take that role, right? Someone else take the lead. I'll take the lead. That's fine. I'll take minutes. That's fine. But my strengths are what I'm going to volunteer to do. Makes sense, right? That's what you like. Has anybody ever gotten stuck in a group and you got stuck with the job that like you hate the most? I think we all have, right? When you get into a group, advocate for yourself. Say, hey, I'm really good at putting PowerPoints together. Mine look awesome. I will put this together if you present because I like get hives when I get up in front of people, right? Divide the work up according to strengths, okay? If you have a group or say you have a duo and neither one of you wants to get up in front of people, split the work in the middle, right? If you both aren't good at it, share the pain, just like you can take on the wealth, right? Does that kind of make sense? And again, you don't know how to play to those strengths if you don't know what you're good at, but that's why you have college, okay? You have to find out what you're good at. It's going to help you in the long run. Have you guys found that week one? Was week one like a little rocky? I'm not going to lie, it was a little rocky for me. I've never had a class as large as these two classes put together, and I was a little rocky. But I think I've got my footing now. I've got everything organized. I'm ready to go. Does anyone else feel kind of like that? Yeah. And if what you've implemented now doesn't work, it's fine to change it. It's fine. It doesn't mean anything less of you. It means you are exploring and you're finding out what works for you. Because remember, we're human, right? God made us all different. Okay? And I could bet $1,000 that what works for me is not going to work for every single one of you. Maybe a few. Anyone else like type A, OCD type thing? I'm looking at you. Yeah. Okay. Only because I know them by now. Okay. And what's going to work for you is not going to work for me or may not work for me. Okay. The good thing also with you having as many professors and advisors and staff and faculty that we have on campus, remember we talked day one, we are all different, right? Okay. Find someone that can help. If they can't help, ask someone else. It's not going to matter. We're all here for mentoring reasons and to give you suggestions. Okay. We're not here to tell you, you must do it this way. Okay. That's what you have to find out on your own. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. I am very good at thinking outside of the box and being able to put myself in other people's shoes. So if you do need assistance, with trying to figure out what works for you, let me know. Okay. I get that not everyone is as OCD about being like organized and into tech as I am. Like, I get that. I live with one or two or a family. Okay. It's just the way it is. Okay. If you're an athlete and having issues, ask one of your upperclassmen. They've been there, done that. It may work for you, it may not. Okay. If you come to me for a suggestion, I give you a suggestion and it does not work and you go and ask someone else, I don't take that personally at all. Okay. It's not like I asked mommy and she didn't, I didn't like her, so I asked daddy. It's not like that, Does that make sense? Yeah. We're all growing together. When people have the opportunity to use their greatest talents and strengths, you experience positive energy, right? You're not in that negativity. You're more likely to achieve your goals. You're more confident. You perform better. You're more engaged and you're less stressed. Okay. I know it sounds silly, but I found out last week that I need to make my lunch the night before I come to school because I was so stressed out last Monday and Wednesday because I woke up and went, well, I'm going to be in school all day. What am I going to eat? Okay. Packed my lunch last night, this morning. I grabbed it and left. So much better. Okay. Think about that when you're scheduling your time and you're scheduling the time that you need to complete coursework, when you need time for athletics, when you want to have time with your friends and you want to have fun, when you want to go home. Okay. Think about all of that together. Okay. To me, I'm the type of person that likes to get the hard and like icky stuff done first, because then I feel like I kind of like finish off strong because it's easier. My husband, on the other hand, likes to like do the fast things first and save the things that are going to take a lot more time for later. And so we tend to like do opposite tasks because I want to do the hard stuff and the long stuff first and get it done. Because in my brain, oh, that's only going to take me 10 minutes. I'll have 10 minutes later. And see, in his brain, I got 10 minutes. I'm going to check that box off and move on. You see how it's two completely different ways, right? Okay. You see, you have to find what your strengths are. Once you know what your talents and strengths are, you can apply them to your day-to-day activities. Okay. Using those behaviors to improve performance. And yes, some people put in their journal that I can't function without caffeine, and y'all are totally correct. Maximizing your strengths by offsetting your weaknesses. Enhancing how you build partnerships and work in teams. Okay. If you're that person that does not like to get up in front of people, but you are good at doing the presentations, and you take on the presentation and someone else has volunteered to do the talk, your stress level is going to go way down, right? Okay. Because you don't have to do those things you are uncomfortable with. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's all there really is on the power of the strengths. Let me go back into, because I lost it. Dun, dun, dun. Courses. 103. Any questions so far? No? You guys need to wake up. Thanks, Dr. Condon. Does everyone know Dr. Condon? No? He's in charge of student life? He's one of the grace people we were talking about. I don't think he knows that that's what we meant, though, so we're good. I don't think he was paying attention. We're good. I think we're okay. Because knowing him, he would have been like, excuse me? I'm like, oh, present company excluded. Yeah, okay. So We're going to take our experience and we're going to figure out what is right with people instead of what is wrong with them. Okay? We want to play to those strengths. Okay? Instead of saying, I am terrible at public speaking, I do not want to get up in front of the class, you say, hey, I am really good at putting presentations together. Okay? We want to go on positivity, not negativity, right? Those on athletic teams, what happens with negativity? It just like, it brings like everybody, like one negative person, right? Brings everybody down. Okay? You know, like that little saying, like when mom's not happy, nobody's happy. I really think it's like a negativity thing, right? Does anyone have a household where if like one person is like having a bad day and cranky, like the whole house is like, yeah, that me. Everyone tends to feed off of each other's energies, right? If you're in a class like this, where I'm trying to get you engaged and I'm trying to be like bubbly, even though I'm not really usually bubbly at 9 a.m. in the morning, right? It kind of gets you engaged with me a little bit better, right? You're feeding off of my energy. If I was sitting up here, just sitting on the stool and just kind of looking at the screen, you guys would all be asleep in here. Because I think I might be asleep then too. Right? So let's flip that switch. And instead of pointing out weaknesses, we want to point out and play to strengths, okay? In ourselves and each other. Okay? Remember, family. We're here to help each other succeed and lift everybody up. Make sense? Okay? So there is a notion, right, that you can be good at anything if you just try hard enough, right? Has everyone heard that? You can do anything? Y'all, I don't want to try that hard. Okay? I want to do fun stuff. Okay? Yes, I probably could master like Russian if I wanted to, but why would I want to do that? I would rather go and like program a video game. Okay? That's my strength. Okay? Can you do anything if you put your mind to it? Yes, you can. But you have to understand the consequences, and it's consequences not in a bad way, okay? Don't take that in a bad way. You have to understand the consequences that come with that, okay? More stress, more time, more effort, if it is not your natural strength, okay? But you can do it. It's just gonna show you kind of where your preferences lie. Make sense? Okay? Every person's one of a unique set of talents and strengths. We can and should try anything we want, we wish to, and long-term success will elude us unless we have a basic talent for the endeavor. Okay? So my mother decided when I was young that I was going to have piano lessons because she never had piano lessons. Right? I hated it. Okay? I hated the piano. I had lessons from when I was like 5 until like I was in 8th grade. I could still barely play a song. If I were to sit down at a piano now, I could not play it, like at all. I could probably tell you where like middle C was. That's about it. Okay, why? Long-term success, I didn't really want to do it. It was not a strength. I was not good at it. I couldn't read music to save my life. Okay, I had to sit down and like literally translate my music and then figure out where my fingers went. It was terrible. So my long-term success is there is none. Okay. I took less than 8 years and I cannot play the piano because it had nothing to do with my talents and my strengths. Okay. Did I make it through every year's recital like by the skin of my teeth? Yes, I did. Okay. I did do it. It wasn't that I couldn't do it. Okay. I was just really bad at it. Like really bad at it. 8th grade, I was still playing the stuff that the like kindergartners were playing. Okay. My long-term success is gone. I have none. Okay. And I'm okay with that. Because it did not play to one of my strengths or one of my personal talents. A strengths-based development strategy starts by focusing on what people do well. And then you're going to emphasize that and build on those strengths to help you become more productive. Yeah, makes sense? So conventional versus strength-based. So in the conventional way of thinking, we're going to say, okay, we're going to fix it. So we're going to identify something we can't do and then develop an improvement plan, okay? I cannot play the piano, so I'm going to take lessons and then all of a sudden I'm magically going to be able to play, okay? In reality, in the strength-based approach, you're going to identify improvement areas and develop an improvement plan, but it's more of a cyclical way of doing it, okay? I'm studying for a test. I'm studying with my peers. I didn't retain any of the knowledge. I'm going to try to study a different way next time, maybe in something quiet. Does that make sense? See how it goes in a circle? Our conventional wisdom and what we've been taught in the past is you're going to do it this way, and if you're not good at it, then you can't do that, right? That's not what we're saying here. What we're saying here is if you can't do it that way, look at other ways that play to your strengths so that you can do it. Does that make sense? It's a lot different than what we learned in high school, wasn't it? Yeah. I'll never forget math class with my daughter when she was probably second or third grade. Okay. Now I'm a math and science person, right? And she brings home her math homework and she has issues and she asked me a question. I said, oh, okay. And I explained it to her. And she goes, well, that's not how the teacher did it. Okay. Because we all know math, right? There's like 1,000 different ways to get the answer, right? It's probably why I like it. So many options. And I'd be like, well, okay, but that's not what the teacher said, but this way worked. Nope, that's not what the teacher said. Then it gets better because then I said, well, what did the teacher say? Well, I don't know. Rock on. Okay. We're beyond that now. We're adults now, right? If way A doesn't work, we're going to try way B. We're going to try way C. We're going to try way until we find out a way that works for us personally. And that's how we're going to adapt moving forward. Okay. Trial and error. Your weaknesses are never going to develop into a strength. Okay. What you can do is play your strengths to overcome a weakness. Do you see the difference? Okay. It's a slight semantic difference, but there is a difference, right? I find ways to compensate using my organizational, my technology skills to overcome some of the other skills that I'm not as good at. Does that mean I got better at that skill? No, I got better at dealing with how to do that skill. Okay, does that make sense? Everybody's just weak at things. We're human. We have weaknesses. Erasers were built for a reason. Anyone ever think of that? There is an eraser on the pencil for a reason. It's to make mistakes. It's what we're here for, right? Okay. So again, employees who receive strength feedback have turnover rates that are 14.9% lower than those for employees who do not receive feedback. Those that have worked, have you ever had a performance review and all they told you was everything you're doing wrong? I worked in corporate America. I had one of those every year. When all they told you was every single thing you're doing wrong. How do you feel after that? You feel like the biggest loser in the world. Okay? Like honestly, if all you're going to tell me is everything I'm doing wrong, then apparently I'm not doing anything right. Okay? Has anyone had any kind of assessment or critique where maybe coach was telling you, okay, these were the good things, but these are the things we have to work on? Is that received completely differently than if he just said, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, he or she, sorry. Yeah? Okay. And does coach usually start out with the bad stuff or the good stuff? Good stuff, right? Hey, you guys were awesome at doing A, B, and C, but I saw a little bit of struggle with this. Let's work on this, right? Is that kind of usually what's said? Something along those lines? Yeah? Okay. You've got to give positive feedback even when you're giving negative, okay? As human beings, we like the pats on the back. I've never met anybody that wants only critiques, okay? You've got to give the good and the bad. This goes along with even if you're doing peer reviews, if you're working in a team, okay? I learned a phrase, and it wasn't too long ago, maybe about 5 or 10 years ago, from a colleague of mine who was a psychology major. Imagine that. She used to always start out her sentences with like, I heard what you say and I really like that, but I think we need to do this. And I was like, how does that work? It's like a magic trick, right? The person you're talking to feels heard, number one, right? Has anyone talked to anybody and you're like, you feel like they're not hearing what you're saying? How do you feel? I get frustrated. Like, I want to be like, you're not listening to me, right? So I get frustrated. Sandwich method, yes. And then I get angry, right? Because I'm like, you're not listening to me. I'm trying to help you. This is the way to do it. And then I get really frustrated. Okay. She always started out her conversations with things like, I hear what you're saying and I get that. Or I hear what you're saying. Can you explain it to me better? Because I don't understand. Okay. Do you see how those approaches are a lot better than saying, no, you're wrong? Right? You're starting a conversation instead of cutting the person off. Okay. We all just want to be heard and understood. Okay. Open your minds, open your ears to your friends, to your faculty, to your staff. Does that make sense? Employees who learn to use their strengths are more productive. We talked about that, right? For employees who agree that manager focuses on their strengths, disengagement falls to 1%. Okay. That means that if you have a manager that is giving you praise as well as the criticism, you're going to be more engaged because you want to please that manager. Again, we're human. We want to please, right? Same thing with coach. If they're being mean and telling you everything you're doing wrong, you're never going to want to correct those things. You're going to be like, he's just being ugly tonight. They're in a bad mood, right? If you give that praise, you want to get more praise. That is just human nature, unfortunately. Right? Okay. So let's see. Here, there's some other general information. So here are some of the themes that are going to be coming up in your assessments tomorrow. Okay. We went through that big list. I'm going to put some of those big lists on the tables tomorrow for when we come in to do our own assessment. Take a look at what's in some of these and what it means. Okay. Remember, this is self-discovery. There is no wrong answer. You're just going to learn about yourself. And what you put into it is what you're going to be able to get out of it. Okay. If you're going to just do the bare minimum and just barely get it done and just hand it in and ignore it, that's fine. Okay. You'll get your grade. You'll move on. But if you really sit and look at them and think about them and read the book and see what it kind of looks like, that's what's going to help you in the end. Okay. Let's take a minute and we'll wrap up by going through the life plan. Now, coursework. So the life plan is actually going to be located at the very end. That is correct. So the question was, it's not due till October, but we can access it now. Yes. One thing I read in some of the journal entries was, I guess not all professors open up everything at the beginning of term. There's probably a reason for that. Like it's probably things might be connected. I tend to do that in my technology and like programming classes because like if you don't learn step A, you can't move to step B. Does that make sense? Okay, rock on. I've heard that. Yeah, Miss Newsom and I had a conversation about that with English Lab. Y'all love English Lab, don't you? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna have a discussion about how to do English Lab moving forward. So I have a question for you guys, and this has very little to do with what we're doing right now. For English Lab, did you get like a breakdown of like what your like grade is gonna be, or like how it associates to a grade? Okay, I'm gonna have to do some research, and by research I mean I'm gonna go ask them. Because I'm really confused on that class. So I'm assuming y'all are too, but I just figured it was because I didn't have information, but apparently not. So it's because it's a 0 credit course, right? It somehow feeds in English 1 comp grade, but I don't know how that works. So I'm gonna ask some questions. Do you know how it works? No, okay. Sorry, you look like you had like an answer. 10%? That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So she said it's 10% of your English comp grade. Okay, so out of 100 points, it's really only worth like 10. Okay, so it's like a letter grade. So my guess is if you get a C, a B, or an A, it won't affect your English comp grade too much. Unless you just do nothing, right? So I know this is like, y'all, I'm not saying this. Maybe I should just turn off my mic so it's not on recording. So no, I'm just kidding. My attitude, if I were a student in your position and it was only worth 10% of my grade, my effort would not be going completely to that. Because to me, you pass that and you're good to go. And pass means a C. Do you know what I'm saying? Because even if you get a C in that class, it's not going to affect anything going on your transcript or your GPA. Only if you fail, though. Correct. If you get a 0 in that class, you're going to end up only being able to get a 90% in English comp, which is like an A-, I believe. Yeah. I believe so. I think so. Don't take my word on that. I'm going to ask some questions today and tomorrow. Here's the thing. I looked at some of those words. There was no way I would pass this class, like with an A. No way. Well, remember, English is not my thing. Like words, I mean, you guys have all heard me like stutter over like simple words. You know what I mean? I'm not, my vocabulary is not huge when it comes to like, no, I don't want to. I'll be traumatized. Yes, sir. Do what? No. That's the thing. You have to take it because it's part of your English comp grade. And this is why I'm going to try to figure out what that association is for you guys. But if it was me and I was a student, I would just make sure that I could pass it. Because even if you pass, it's not like that C is not going towards your GPA. It's going towards part of your English comp, which then goes to your GPA. Does that make sense? It's very confusing. That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure I get it. So, yeah. Is that kind of what she said?
She said that basically she didn't mention anything about how she didn't speak about how.
Right. Right. So, yeah, Kyle was talking to Ms. Newsom and asked if it affected his GPA, and Ms. Newsom said no, but it is something that you have to take. It's meant to help, but I don't think it's doing that right now. I'm just saying, because if this is helping, then y'all are going to need mental health here in a minute, right? I mean, because if I were in your shoes, I would be freaking out as well. That's why I'm trying to understand like what this means. My understanding is that you just have to pass the class. Okay? You don't need an A, you don't need 100%. You need to get that C and move on. I'm going to do some research, I'm telling you. But yeah, because I don't want you guys stressing over like a vocab class. It's kind of, I'm still trying to figure out the point. Yeah, I'm gonna ask some questions today. And see, that's I have heard that. She said it was more work than all the other classes like put together. I've heard that. That's why I'm trying to figure out, like, I don't want to see. I'm gonna be scarred for life. I didn't even open mine up yet. Okay, I'm gonna do some research then on that, and I'm gonna get back to you guys. Because I don't want you guys stressing over that class, because like I said, if you get 100%, I don't know that it doesn't affect your GPA at all. I think all you need to do is pass. Okay. Do you ever hear like D diploma, D's done? Oh, C's get degrees? That works too. Okay. Those are the classes or classes that you audit and things like that. Those are the classes you don't want to put 100% of your time in, because it's not going to affect the final outcome. Anyway, so we are going to write a life plan, and we're writing a life plan because the course catalog says we have to. Okay, so I made this up. Rock on. Okay, so plan for your education may seem unnecessary. You're going to go to school and get an education and graduate, right? And then you're done. Well, it doesn't really work like that. Okay. You may end up with a college degree that doesn't fit your interests or skills. And so we're going to develop a plan for college. You're going to get your dreams and your hopes and your goals down on paper. And that's going to be your first step in getting to the end goal. Okay. Some of the things that you can include are a personal mission statement. What are you trying to achieve ultimately? Okay. Personal inventory. What do you do best? This is where your strengths are going to come in. Okay. The results of any research. Have you done any research outside? What interests you? What do you like to read about? What do you like to put your time and effort and energy into? Can you connect that with career goals? Okay. A calendar of important dates or milestones. Okay. For example, I plan to graduate by spring 20 whatever. Okay. If you want to try to graduate a term earlier, so I would like to graduate in fall of whatever. Okay. A list of potential jobs, businesses, or research, things you can do after you get your degree. Okay. Did you choose your degree based on, I want to work at Google because that looks really cool online? Or this sounded like a really cool subject. I have no clue where I need to work when I leave here. Okay. Do some research on some companies, local, in North Carolina, in the United States, outside of the United States, doesn't matter. Okay. But look at what that job pool is going to look like when you leave here. Okay. LinkedIn is a great resource to look at for jobs, to see like what the buzzwords are. I always look at the LinkedIn job pool just to see what employers are looking for, so I can give those skills to my students. Okay. So knowing what employers are looking for is going to help you. Okay. Identify goals and priorities. Okay. Values, interests, skills. Make your goal realistic. Okay. Does everyone know the dream versus a goal and how they're different? Okay. A goal means in 4 years, I'm going to get my degree. I'm going to graduate passing with a GPA of 3.0. And I'm going to have a job working, doing A, B, and C. That's a goal. A dream, I'm going to make $1 million and own my own Microsoft company when I grow up. You see the difference? Dream versus goal. We want goals. We want things that are actually achievable. Look at some of the logical steps that you can get towards your goal. Okay. If one of your goals is to graduate early, lay it out on paper. Okay. You guys know where to find what's expected of you now, right? On the Carolina University email website. Lay it out. I'm taking 5 classes in the fall. I'm going to take 5 during the summer. I'm going to try to take a module class. Okay. Lay it out on paper. Okay. Here's your research. Think about your dream job. What kind of training, education, and skills are required? This is where we can find our resources through the library, okay? What are real life work conditions, work environment, and work schedule? Okay. Are you looking for something that is a work at home? Are you looking for something that's flexible? Are you looking for something that is a, overnight? They're all possible. Okay. What are some of the likely rewards, and are those rewards important to you, and why? And do you have any other rewards that you can think of that might be more important to you? Okay. That's all this is going to be as far as content. Okay. Ms. Newsom's going to go into more of the grammatical, wordy English stuff on her side. Okay. Any questions about what's going to go into this? Does it kind of make sense? Yes, sir. This is due before the last day of class. Okay. One other thing I want to point out is that we are going to, Ms. Newsom and I are trying to coordinate 2 class periods, probably more into September, where she will come into this class and we will work on them together. So we're going to have at least 2 class periods to work on writing this paper. Make sense? Okay. I will notify you as soon as we put those dates down in the book, because it would probably be beneficial to at least have some research, maybe a rough draft outline, whatever, some notes on some paper, because she will be here to help us to look at them. Okay. Make sense? Okay. Tomorrow, bring your laptops, your computers, your codes, and your books. Okay. We're going to work through the assessment. We'll do a little bit beforehand, and then we're going to have probably about an hour to work through the assessment. Cool. Okay.